on the web, and in your hands. This is MDiTV.
It's an argument that has divided the deaf community for years. For those of us who hear to understand, you have to consider this question. If you or your child couldn't hear, would you rely on a device called a cochlear implant or rely on your hands for sign language? In the next few minutes, you'll hear from people who have made both those choices. You'll also hear the latest research on who benefits the most from the technology. First, meet Melissa. She got a cochlear implant when she was 8. But without auditory input at an early age, the part of her brain that processes sound couldn't fully develop. So with a cochlear implant, she could hear sounds, but had a difficult time understanding what the sounds meant. Her teachers and parents tried to teach her, explaining to her what each sound meant. That's the sound of a train, or that's the sound of Grandpa snoring.
I could hear the train, I could hear birds, and I could identify many environmental sounds with practice. But words, I didn't. They were really hard.
It was so challenging, Melissa decided to hide her cochlear implant in her locker. After 4 years, she finally told her parents what she was feeling.
I really don't like my cochlear implant. It doesn't benefit me. It's so much work. And they said, okay, fine. And after that, I've never used it. When I stopped using the cochlear implant, I felt normal.
The largest scientific study aimed at understanding how kids feel about cochlear implants is underway at the University of Texas. The second study of the research was recently published in the Otolaryngology Journal. Researchers sent out questionnaires to 2 groups of children with cochlear implants, 8 to 11-year-olds and 12 to 16-year-olds.
When you get into middle childhood and early adolescence, when you have something that's different, these kids have something that you can see, it's on their head. And so we don't know how they feel about that, or does it even matter?
The questionnaire sent to kids and parents asked questions about self-image, social life at school, and life at home. The researchers compared their responses with answers from hearing kids their age in Germany. Overall, there doesn't seem to be much difference in how kids feel about themselves, with one exception. The children who got cochlear implants very early in life did better than those who got the implants when they were older. Rachel and Abigail are proof. The sisters got cochlear implants when they were both infants. They get good grades and play on sports teams in high school. Abigail hopes to golf in college, and Rachel dreams of going to Pepperdine. Both are now taking sign language courses. It's the first time they've experienced what it's like to be part of a deaf culture.
To see what it could be like, it's a really interesting experience to see oh, we could have been in this culture. It definitely shows you a different side of what life could have been like, and it makes me grateful sometimes that I have a cochlear implant, because it's so hard for deaf people to communicate with hearing people.
Cochlear implants have divided the deaf community for years because some consider the technology a threat and a rejection of deaf culture.
If you have a cochlear implant, instead of learning to sign, are you trying to be a hearing person? Are you not willing to identify yourself with us? It's partly fear. Maybe we fear that they're really better than we are, or that we as a community are going to disappear if medical technology makes fewer people deaf.
The reality is more children are getting cochlear implants at a younger age. The technology has improved and is more widely available. Colleen Thayer wonders what her life would be like if cochlear implants had been available when she was young. Her daughter and husband can hear, but she believes it's too late for her to benefit from the technology. The next step for researchers at the University of Texas is to take a closer look at what life is like for kids with and without cochlear implants, since their latest study doesn't pinpoint cochlear implants as the reason kids rated their quality of life higher or lower. What the study does demonstrate is that kids getting cochlear implants are likely to have more success if they get them at an early age. For MDiTV, I'm Kathy Marshall.